This video is presented by EA Creator Network. Thank you to EA for providing me for a code for this early access event. This is not the final version of the game and may change when it is released. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today I am building a traditional Thai home, and I'm saying this like sort of in quotations because I've never been to Thailand. I don't know actually what is traditional. I just looked up images online and sort of tried to piece together and recreate by different inspiration photos. I also went into the Bing AI thing and asked it to create me some traditional Thai homes, and I saw a few images on there that I liked, so sort of based on that and then just went my own way with things. But this world and the build items are absolutely stunning, and I feel like the main part of these traditional Thai homes is definitely the roofing, and I really did have trouble with the roofing. It took me so long. This video is a little bit longer than my usual speed build. I didn't want to speed it up too much, but it sped up more than a usual speed build. I have the interior as a separate video because it took me so long to build, but this was the first thing I went ahead and built when I got the early access, and it was mainly because of the roofing. I really wanted to get it as close as possible to the traditional roofing, and I think I did an okay job. A lot of it was about layering roof pieces. So what I did at first was had the one roof that fit exactly to the width of the room below, and then I did another roof above that and made it one tile bigger either side. And then there's these roofing pieces which you can see on the top, which are in the like chimneys section or the roofing decorative section, and you can place these on top of roofs. And I did have a bit of trouble with placing them and getting them exactly right. They are a bit fiddly, but once you get it, it is fine. Like here, I didn't want to overlap one, but it was too small, so I had to leave a gap in the middle, or I would have had to make my roof one tile bigger, and I didn't want to because it was already a pretty big build. I also wish on the roofing paint option that it gave you the dark brown colour, because if you see in a moment when I placed the roofing on these pieces, I wanted that orange colour that I've got on the top pieces. But then it has a white trim everywhere, but the trim on the roofing pieces, these parts, is brown. You can see there's white here, so I was like trying to cover that up because I didn't want the white showing through because everything else was this brown colour. So I wish they kept the brown going throughout the roof paint. But that is something that could be updated when the game is released. I don't know, like I said, this is early access and not final software of the game, so things can slightly change. Obviously, I am pre-recording this, so I am not 100% sure. I most probably will make a tutorial on how I did the roofing, just in case anybody wants to know how to do this, to recreate something that looks a little bit more traditional, because it does look beautiful overall. I was also worried that this build was going to look too samey. If you don't get what I mean, it's because the brown outside of the house, the brown like slats that I have used, I didn't want to have that brown absolutely everywhere, but the doors and windows looked weird if I did them in a different colour. So I kept them the same brown as the outside of the house, but I broke it up by doing this slightly different brown around the roof trims, using this more chocolatey brown instead of the cooler tone brown. And I think that broke it up just a little bit so it didn't look too samey. And then also what I ended up doing towards the end is adding green curtains in the little deck areas, just to break it down. And I did see an image where they were using curtains on these deck areas. I don't know if that is actually traditional. It was just on the AI images it kept coming up, and I really wanted to add some colour in. You can see here I changed it all to that chocolatey colour brown, and I just did not like it. It didn't work. And I think I do change them trims as well back to the cool tone brown because it just looked a little bit better. It looked odd having that chocolate brown in the middle of the cool tone brown. So you might also see I built this house on stilts. It's not quite like the houses on the other side. I looked up why the houses were built on stilts, and there's a few reasons why. So one of the first reasons is it's actually good for like airflow and to keep things like cool and breezy in the house. They tend to build the flooring to have slight gaps in it so they can cool down the house through the floor since it's raised off the ground. It's also used for storage and also protection from floods, wild animals and stuff like that. And I know when I looked at a lot of the ones that are on stilts, they were a lot smaller houses and they weren't like this big sort of fancy lavish design, but I really wanted to create something that was a bit more lavish, so that's what I've done here. I also think other than one other area which is a community lot, I can't remember exactly what it is. Is it a museum? I can't remember what it is. This was the largest free lot and I didn't want to just demolish the other houses straight away, so I went ahead and used this lot. Also, my plan for this build was that it is just for like 2 families. So one side I've gone for more of that traditional looking like I have on the outside with the dark woods throughout, whereas the other side I've gone for more bright colours. And in my head it is like grandparents live on one side and maybe the more traditional side. So I've just put one double bed in there, and then on the right side I have done this for more of a family. Say it is the son-in-law and the daughter or daughter-in-law and son, whichever way, and I've also put a toddler bed in there. There is only one bedroom on that side, so the toddler bed, did I do toddler or did I do baby? I might have changed it to baby, I can't remember exactly, but I've put it within the parents' room, so you would have to make room for your child growing up. You could easily make a room downstairs because it is large enough. I've done like quite wide open space areas on the right hand side. But you will see more of that in the second part, which is already filmed, so you will actually get a second part, unlike usual where I'm like, I will do a second part, but I haven't filmed it already. So you will see a second part. We also created some like pond areas around the build here. So I just did this with the terrain tool, and I wanted it to be quite squared off, like it was done on purpose. It's not just a river that was already there. So I've squared it off, and then I have ended up putting plants going all the way around the edge of it. So out of all the builds that I decided to do during my early access, I feel like this one was my favourite, and it was the first one that I went ahead and did. And I think it was purely because of the roofing. It was such a challenge for me. I've never done anything that looks like this, so I was really happy with how it turned out. You can see here I put green doors on the building, and I didn't think it quite worked with the brown wood. I feel like this would be better on the stucco style, so I did go ahead and change that back to the brown and add more windows, and like I said, use the green curtains, which will be coming soon. I really wish this lot was just a slight bit bigger because I did quite a large build. I was really struggling around the edges. I wanted to add a little bit more and I couldn't. So the garden is teeny tiny. There is really not much in the back garden. It is so thin. It's just like a little bit of path. I put in the shrine in there in the back as well, and just a bench, and that was about it, and just a few plants here and there. And I did terrain paint around all of the plants, but if you see in the video right at the start, there's no terrain paint around the plants. I don't know why this is. When I went back in to get those shots, the terrain paint just wasn't there and I couldn't be bothered to go back and redo it. So hopefully, because I will have this on the gallery once the game is fully released, I will terrain paint it before I put it in the gallery so it's fully done for you. I'm just going to put it in fully furnished. You can go ahead and get rid of all the furnishing if you would like and do what you like in there. But the option is there if you don't want to furnish it. It is fully done. So you can see here I'm just adding the final details to the outside, so adding a few little small details on these roofing parts just to make them look a little bit more interesting, adding the terrain paint and plants around the house, as well as stuff like windows, because I might do the windows when I do the interior for some of the walls, because I wasn't sure where the kitchen and that was going to go. So yeah, these back walls here, I don't think I put windows on until I've done the interior, so you might see me do that when I do the interior. I don't know, like I said, this was the first build I did. I also love the plant options that come with this. These are from the debug menu, most of them. Do bear that in mind. A lot of them are similar to the ones from Island Living, but there is ones that aren't in Island Living and they are absolutely beautiful. So do bear that in mind that if you do want some of the plants, I'm pretty sure most of them were in the debug menu. I also went ahead and added some rocks. Again, these were from the debug menu. I don't know if there's any in the normal menu. I can't remember because I just go ahead and put all my cheats in as I start and go through the debug menu and just put in whatever I want. But that is pretty much it for this build. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and I will see you in my next video. Bye!